More and more people keep asking, is Senator Mitch McConnell alive right now? And this is getting to be a weirder and weirder story. And we have a new wrinkle that is so bizarre that I don't even know what to make of it. We have now learned that 3 days after Mitch McConnell was rushed to the hospital, his wife, former Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao, reportedly met with a top official in Beijing. And we've also learned that he was taken to the hospital after being found unconscious, a detail that took weeks to get about what happened with Mitch McConnell. So let me catch you up and then we'll talk about the new information. The former Senate Majority Leader, still a Republican Senator, Mitch McConnell, was hospitalized on June 14th. We are now getting close to a month ago. We didn't know where he was hospitalized and we didn't know why he was hospitalized. Now, eventually, it was revealed which hospital he was being cared for in. We still had no idea why he was there. There were statements from his office that he was recovering nicely, but from what? We didn't know. Remember that Mitch McConnell also had two incidents recently where he froze while talking, just like that. And we never got an explanation for those either. After he froze again, we were told he's feeling much better. But feeling much better from what condition? Like, what on earth is going on here? He was also hospitalized earlier this year for what was described as a flu-like illness. Also very opaque circumstances, very little transparency. And then we learned that he was found unconscious and an ambulance had been called when the June 14th incident happened. We don't know what medical condition was playing out. We don't know what his medical condition and status are today. And now the news is that 3 days into his hospitalization, his wife was in China meeting with the vice president of China. This is per a news release from Chinese officials. So McConnell is hospitalized after being found unresponsive on June 14th. And on June 17th, his wife is in China meeting with the vice president of China. Now, putting aside for a second that we have no idea why she was meeting with the Chinese VP, like, was this official business? Was it a personal thing? The only thing that's said is that it was for mutual partnerships or something totally generic. Who knows? Why is she doing that 3 days after her husband is hospitalized under secrecy after allegedly being found unconscious? It's all very strange. Now, we don't know whether Mitch McConnell plans to resign at this point from the Senate. As we've said before, it certainly doesn't seem like he has any capacity to do this job. Pat and I spoke about this on the bonus show last week, and whatever needs to happen, it doesn't seem like he's coming back to be a senator anytime soon. And it has now been 22, 23 days since he's been hospitalized. Now, remember that there was speculation that what was going on with McConnell, maybe if he died, it was being hidden because they didn't want Democratic Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear appointing McConnell's replacement in the Senate, who would certainly be a Democrat if a Democratic governor gets the opportunity to do it. But that's not how the law works in Kentucky. So we were able to debunk that. If indeed it was known that Mitch McConnell had passed away, Andy Beshear wouldn't get to appoint anyone. It would be decided by a special election. That race is up for election anyway. McConnell's retiring. So in 4 months, they'd be electing a new senator anyway. You might not even need a special election, but there would be no appointment from Andy Beshear. So that can't be the explanation. Hey, real quick, if you're watching on YouTube right now, would you mind hitting the subscribe button? As an independent show, metrics like subscriber count help us rank higher than the right-wing shows and higher than even corporate media channels and keep building this progressive independent ecosystem. And if you're already subscribed, thank you. Every single one counts. Back to the clip. But we now are finding everybody asking, is Mitch McConnell alive? Is he technically alive, but on life support with no hope of recovery? Rumors are flying, and there is a complete and total lack of transparency. Now, I know that every once in a while when you talk about stuff like this, someone will go, oh, but what about HIPAA? You're asking HIPAA to be violated of medical privacy. HIPAA applies to medical providers. Any transparency that could be provided willingly by Mitch McConnell's office or his family would have nothing to do with HIPAA. And I would even go further. I don't even really think this is about Mitch McConnell anymore. Not really. It's more about, does the American public deserve basic transparency when someone holds one of the most powerful elected offices in the country? He's recovering nicely after a few days in the hospital, and 2 more weeks go by and he hasn't been seen or heard from. Isn't transparency. So it's weird to say, but this is one of the most senior senators in the Senate, former majority leader, one of 100 of the most powerful votes in the country on issues of legislation. Do we need proof of life? Like, at this point, is it crazy to say, before we go any further, we've got to make sure he's even alive at this point in time? No one is entitled to every medical detail about Mitch McConnell, but there's medical privacy and then there's total secrecy. Right now, we're in the total secrecy phase. And imagine if this were a Democratic senator. Imagine that this were Chuck Schumer. Right-wing media would be running wall-to-wall coverage saying, we need answers. Is he fit for office? How is he still controlling a vote that he may not have the fitness to execute? And they would be accusing, by the way, Democrats of a cover-up for sure. So I don't believe the standard should change depending on party. When Democrats have gone missing, there was a congresswoman who was missing and she was in a memory care facility. We called it out. We said, this is unacceptable. We need transparency. This also raises the even broader issue of aging political leadership and our gerontocracy. If someone is physically or cognitively unable to carry out the responsibilities of their office, we as the public have a legitimate interest in knowing that. And I don't care what letter is next to their name, if they're a Republican or if they're a Democrat. And I know many of you must be thinking, well, David, that's got to apply to Trump as well. Hell yes, it does. And of course, it's important. When I say we need to know whether elected officials are cognitively or physically capable, Trump's glitchy performance over the weekend certainly raises even more questions about that. So listen, it's time to end the speculation. And doing that, I don't think would be that difficult. Have Mitch McConnell appear publicly, at least release a more substantive update on his condition, authorize medical professionals who I don't think would just make stuff up to give an update on his medical condition. And the longer that this silence goes on, the more of these vague statements, he's recovering nicely from what? The more rumors are going to keep growing when that's the sort of stuff they put out. So I want to hear from you on 2 parts. Number 1, what do you believe is going on? And number 2, what is it going to take to finally get some transparency here? I don't have the answer. You can leave a comment up there, down here, wherever, or send me an email, info@davidpakman.com. Thanks for watching. Check out another one of our videos and make sure to subscribe so YouTube keeps our content in your feed. And if you prefer audio, subscribe to the podcast on Spotify or Apple.